I found a bright orange notice slapped on my side gate permit violation filed in block letters that cracked when I peeled it. She, the HOA president, said community rules override city code, so I posted my certified permit and told her to read the seal out loud. The inspector showed up, flipped the file, then burst out laughing. Our stamp was newer than their bylaw, his mic still on. "Read it into the record," I said. Finally, someone fought back. The paper was already curling when I saw it stapled to my side gate. "Unpermitted, pool removal pending. Rolling," Pam said, lifting her phone. "Wide shot. Name's Rick Hall," I said. 50. Former building inspector. This is my pool. The HOA president stood in her visor like beige authority. "Community pool rules override city paperwork, Mr. Hall. City code overrides opinions," I said. "Read the number into the record." I held up the blue folder. "Permit. Received. 03-17. Finley slowed with his coffee. "That stamp look real, neighbor?" "It's real," I said. "Embossed seal. Page 2 references time." She clicked her pen. "Until the board completes review, remove the gear." "No," I said. "I'll preserve peace and prove we're permitted." The filter pump thumped, then fell quiet. Chlorine sharpened the morning. A mower droned somewhere past the bend. On the mail kiosk, a duplicate notice lifted in the breeze. Pam tightened the frame. "Say it again for the record." "Received. 03-17. I said, holding the stamp square to the lens. "City of Cedar Crest." "Process matters," the president said. "We need pre-clearance for water features visible from shared property." "Pre-clearance doesn't cancel lawful approvals," I said. "You posted a claim." "I'm posting proof. Read it into the record." She tapped the notice. "Unpermitted means unpermitted." "Unpermitted would mean no permit," I said. "I have one." "Not valid here," she said. "Which part, the job or the law?" Her smile thinned. "Both." Pam kept the lens steady. "Permit number," I read it slowly. She repeated it on camera. I rapped the latch with my knuckle. "Gate hardware meets Hartarter 12 at Euro 7 enclosure standards. Torque charts on the bench." Finley sipped. "You bringing out the charts?" "Rick charts beat guesses," I said. "Receipts beat rumors." She pointed at the umbrella. "That weave clashes with approved pallets." "Clashes," I said. "Texture implies tone," she said. "Tones aren't in the bylaws. Show me the line." She shuffled plastic sleeves. "We'll table that." "You can't table a citation you haven't made," I said. "Start with the statute." "Start with the statute." Neighbors drifted in cargo short strollers, porch coffee. A kid asked, "Is the pool unsafe?" "No," I said. "Site plan overlay approved. Setbacks clean." The president inhaled like a stuck bolt. "Remove the pump until our inspection." "Your inspection doesn't outrank the city's," I said. "That's why cities have inspectors." "You're escalating," she said. "I'm documenting." The filter clicked again. The motor coasted to silence our quiet, silent beat. Pam cut to the bulletin board, then back to the gate, catching the fluttering duplicate. I slid the notice into a clear sleeve and initialed the edge. "Exhibit A," I said. "Community harmony is the priority," she said. "So is chain of custody," I said. "Certified copies go to all 5 board members by lunch." Finley laughed. "He'll actually do it." She stiffened. "Gatherings at or near the pool may be non-compliant. People standing on a sidewalk is called mourning," I said. "Don't manufacture nuisance." Pam whispered, "Measured Rick." "I'm measured," I said. "Just setting a public record. Records outlive moods." The president checked the crowd, then squared to me. "Final warning. Remove equipment pending review." "Final answer," I said. "No. The permit stands." She stepped closer. "You think this is clever?" "I think it's documented," I said. Pam zoomed tight on the watermark. I opened the folder so the light caught the emboss. Raised seal. Page 2 shows the time. "Received. 03-17. Your paperwork won't save you," she said. "It already did." I said, "It kept me inside the law." Finley lifted his cup. What's next? The city clerk, I said. We'll log this notice, tie it to the permit, and request the inspector. On mic. The kid with the stroller nodded. So we'll know. Everyone will, I said. You'll hear it in the room. The president narrowed her eyes. Our committee will measure the installation. Great, I said. Bring a decibel meter and a ruler. Bring the bylaw. Bring your minutes. I'll bring the file. She huffed. You're mocking the process. I'm making it audible. Pam lifted a brow. Cliff, I clicked the latch. The sound was crisp. Here's your proof of enclosure, I said. ASTM tag, FARC12-07, reference torque chart. We're not playing hide the rule. She stared at the water. The morning put a white coin on the shallow end. Papers trembled in her sleeves. Her pen hovered. Unpermitted, I said. Pending review, she said. I set the notice beside the folder on the bench, claim versus proof. Then we'll set the review with people who laugh for the right reasons. She frowned. Laugh. You'll hear it, I said. Soon. Pam framed the closing shot. I faced the lens. For the record, the HOA president thinks she owns my pool. The notice says unpermitted. The permit says received 0317. The city will decide not a visor. Finley chuckled. Visor law ain't law. Exactly, I said, and I'm done talking curbside. She lowered the clipboard like a shield. Expect fines. Expect filings, I said. Paper outlives noise. I lifted the blue folder until the stamp filled the frame. Unpermitted, watch the file. Playback. Neighbors kept their distance listening. Received 0317. You can't waive city law, I said, palms open to the beige room. Read the code you're citing. The fluorescent tubes hummed like insects over winter. A coffee urn burbled on a folding table beside a stack of powdered creamer. On the board table an agenda, a 3-ring binder of bylaws, a tray of pens, and my post office slip with a green certified sticker. Pam stood behind the last row, filming quietly. The HOA president centered her visor in the room's reflection, already speaking like she'd won. For the record, she said, Mr. Hall's pool presents a community aesthetic risk. I took a breath. For the record, I answered, bylaw FAIR 12-07 governs enclosures, not aesthetics. City permit on file. Received 0317. Gary, her ally, leaned forward until his chair creaked. Pending committee review, he said. That's our process. Then read the process I said, and read 412-07 aloud. The secretary flipped pages, highlighter stripes shining like hazard tape. Her voice was thin but careful. Section 12-07. Fences and gates, compliant with city code, shall be deemed acceptable when constructed to standard and not exceeding height limits. I nodded once. There's your bridge between worlds. Gary smirked. It still looks like a hotel courtyard. Looks are not codes, I said. Mini cliff number 1. Looks are not codes. The president tapped her pen against the binder. We can't accept the permit at face value. We require preclearance for water features. Preclearance for style, I said. Not safety. The city already ruled safety. I'm asking you to enter the permit number into minutes. Pam zoomed on my blue folder's heading. I read the digits slowly. She whispered them back to confirm the shot. Also, I added placing the post office slip on the table. These are certified mail receipts to each board member time-stamped this morning. Please add those to the record. The secretary reached for them, wary eyes flicking to the president. We can scan and attach, including the stamp image, I said. If it's real, stamp it. Gary scoffed. Cute. Standard, I said. The president pivoted to the crowd, 2 skeptical neighbors, a mother with a stroller, Finley with a half smile. Aesthetic integrity is the foundation of harmony, she announced. Then show your authority to override a city inspection, I said. Line and page. The secretary licked a finger and kept turning. Her whisper leaked out like a secret. We don't have override language. Say that louder, I said, gentle. She cleared her throat. We don't have override language. The fluorescent hum pressed on. The coffee urn popped. Papers slid inside the president's binder like a practiced shuffle. "Umbrella color," Gary said, as if remembering a gift. "His umbrella is non-compliant." A neighbor raised a brow. "There's a list for colors." Gary nodded solemnly. "Palette guidance." "Guidance," I repeated, "not ordinance." The president's smile thinned. "We will table Mr. Hall's request until our compliance committee can perform a site visit." "You can't table what's already before you," I said. "A permit with a registration number is here now. Either you log it or you ignore it in writing. Minnie Cliff number 2. Either you log it or you ignore it in writing." Pam panned to the agenda. I tapped the open space under New Business. "Add item C," I said. "Entry of permit number into record. Acknowledgement that 812-07 defers safety to city code. Confirmation of receipt for 5 certified packets. Pending committee review." Gary repeated. "Process is a ladder, not a loop," I said. "Minutes, then committee, then findings. Paper climbs." The president fixed her visor like armor. "Mr. Hall tone." "Measured," I said. "Like a tape." The secretary's pen hovered, then scratched. She glanced up. "What's the permit number again?" I read it steady and slow. She repeated it, then underlined. She exhaled, almost relieved. Pam captured the city seal printed at the top of my copy. The embossed version stayed home in the sleeve. This was the meeting handout. I slid one across the table for each of them. "Keep the heading," I said. "The inspector's office likes to see their letterhead in minutes." The president didn't touch hers. "We're not the city." "Exactly," I said, "and you can't waive city law." The room swallowed the sentence. For a beat, the only sound was that fluorescent hive. I heard my own breath. Pam's lens motor ticked. The secretary reset her stack and squared the corners. "All right," Gary said. "Suppose the city approved it. What about visual nuisance?" "Define it," I said. "In inches or decibels. Not adjectives." A neighbor coughed into his sleeve. "Decibels. Pools hum," Gary said. "So do lights," I said. "We measure, we don't guess." The president finally lifted the handout, touching the printed seal like it burned. "We will require an internal inspection of the site." "Schedule it," I said. "Name a time. Bring a copy of the minutes you just took." She hesitated. "Next Tuesday." "I'll also schedule a city inspector," I said, keeping my voice calm. "You'll get to hear the difference between policy and law." The secretary looked up. "We should, log his permit number." The president stared at her as if the air had betrayed her. The secretary kept writing anyway, highlighter trembling a little. She capped it and set it down. Pam stepped closer. Stamp. The secretary took my certified slips, rose and crossed to a tiny self-inking stamp by the urn. She pressed the first receipt into the pad and gave it a thunk that echoed louder than it should have. Silent beat. Stamp, thunk. The president blinked. Again, I said softly, "All 5. Thunk, 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 thunk." I turned to the camera. "Goal today is simple jurisdiction. We build a file piece by piece." Gary spread his hands. "We're not hostile. We want harmony. Harmony lives in records," I said. Finley grinned. "And coffee." The president gathered herself. "We'll issue a letter after committee review. You'll await it before any further action." I slid a small card across the table. "Appointment with Dale Harper, retired city inspector. He'll brief me before Tuesday. You're welcome to ask him questions. He doesn't waive law either." Gary rolled his eyes. "Consultants." "Experience," I said. The president turned to the secretary. "Draft the letter." "Draft the minutes first," I said. "Then the letter can sit on the minutes like a roof on a frame." She bristled. "You don't run this board." "I don't," I said. "But I do run my mail, certified, and my paper trail heavy." Pam lifted her chin. "Cliff." I gathered my folder, and the stamped slips lined them with the agenda edge and looked straight into the lens. "We go by the whole book file it tonight." The diner smelled like bacon and copier toner. Highway hum outside coffee cups lined like evidence. Dale slid a napkin under a certified copy and tapped the blue folder between us. "Let's match seals," he said. I unfolded the permit crease to crease. The stamp gleamed under the booth light. Received 0317 ink slightly bled on page 2. Pam filmed from across the booth lens steady on the folder. The waitress poured refills without asking. "Ridge count," Dale asked. 4 on the outer ring. 8 micro ridges inside, I said. He nodded. City's seal uses a split ridge offset by 0.5 millimeter. You can fake ink, not pressure. He lifted his coffee mug and pressed it into the napkin. "See that indentation? Ink sits above fiber. Embossing crushes it." I ran a finger along the seal. "Indentation crosses the watermark exact." "Good," he said. "Now, let's call the clerk." Pam set her phone on speaker. A woman answered, tired but precise. "Cedar Crest. Permitting, this is Harper. This is Hall," I said. "Permit 22641 P. Issued March 17th, 3:17 a.m. A pause. Typing sounds. "Confirmed," she said. "Status active. Certified copy logged and scanned to archive this morning." Pam raised a thumb at the camera. Dale smiled like a man hearing an engine run clean. "Now, the plat overlay," Dale said, pulling a small projector from his case. He set it on the table beside the pie slice. The fan whirred a small patient sound. "Fence setbacks," he murmured. "Let's line them up." On screen, blue lines overlapped like veins. The pool footprint sat square inside the property boundary. "Zero encroachment," he said. Pam zoomed in on the crosshatch. "That's beautiful." "Not beautiful," Dale said. "Compliant." I laughed softly. "You haven't changed." "Neither have bylaws," he said. "They just get misread louder." He reached for the affidavit folder. "Page 2, chain of custody checklist. Sign here." I signed. "You think the board will accept this?" "They'll have to," he said. "This is exhibit ready." He looked at me over his glasses. "But you're not done yet. Jurisdiction's confirmed. Next you file hearing request. On mic with clerk timestamp." Pam checked her watch. "City office closes in an hour." "Plenty of time," Dale said. "You've got the receipts." "Minicliff number 2, you've got the receipts." He pushed the folder back toward me. "Keep originals flat. Never fold official seals. Bring copies, mark them, for review." "Chain of custody?" I asked. "Your wife," he said, nodding to Pam. "Continuous recording, every handoff documented." The waitress dropped the check. "You boys solving crimes, paper ones," Dale said. "Want to witness a signature?" She blinked, then smiled. "Sure. Witnessing's free with coffee." She signed the corner of the affidavit. Pam caught the motion. That signature, Dale said, anchors time. I stared at the napkin beneath the permit. "You always taught us measure twice, file once." "Still works," he said. "But now you add video proof." He drew lines on the napkin marking fence corners. Every inch documented. Truth prints in ink, not opinion. Silent beat the projector hum filled the booth fan spinning like a calm pulse. Pam slid the clerk's email open on her phone. Filed at 15:21. "Read it," Dale said. "Public hearing request received. Filed 15:21, clerk initial HP." "Save the header," he said. "That's your new anchor." Outside, a truck downshifted on the highway. The light flickered. The diner neon blinked open twice before steadying. "Looks like the world approved your paperwork," Dale said. I exhaled. "Feels like the first clean line in weeks." He folded the napkin, slid it into my folder. "Keep that too," he said. "Every trace counts. Juries believe wrinkles." "I'm not going to court," I said. He smiled. "You're going to a hearing. But act like it's court. Same truth, fewer robes." Pam finished the last shot. "We done?" "Not yet," Dale said. "We schedule hearing print overlay and submit copies. Then we let them read it into record." I gathered the stack certified copy affidavit PG. 2 overlay printout clerk email and clipped them under the city seal header. "Seal matches," Dale said. "You're clean. Now make them say it." He reached for his coffee. The fan slowed. The booth light reflected off the metal ridge of the seal like dawn on chrome. Pam framed the closing shot. I said, "Plat overlay lands exact 0 encroachment." Dusk cooled yard. The pool light rippled against the coping. Pam checked batteries. I set blue folder on the workbench. "Slate clean," she said. "Phone time matched." "Neighbor lens ready," I said. From the upstairs window, Finley called red lamp on. Rolling. I walked the fence with a tape and a chalk pencil. "Call the marks," Pam said. 2 feet to side gate, I said. 5 feet to pump pad. Setback pins placed. "Copy," she said. "Mic is live." "Permit tab," Pam said. I opened the certified copy and lifted the seal to the porch light. "Stamp reads received 0317, I said. "Hold," she said. "Watermark thread visible. Shooting second pass." "Good. Start the sync," I said. Pam tapped the phone clock. The trail cam blinked. Finley raised a hand. "Clap 1, I said, and cracked my palms. "Clap 2. Affidavit, page 2. "Ready," she said. "Grid reads phone trail neighbor," I said. "Start marks clean. I sign, you sign." She filmed the pen touching paper. Ink pooled. A familiar jacket slid into the neighbor frame. "Gary on sidewalk," Pam said, pointing at our gate. "Record his direction," I said. "No contact with property." "Logged," she said. "Walk the latch," I said. I pulled the latch through and felt a slight roughness. "Feel that," I said. Pam leaned close. "Shine line present." "Strain," she said. "Minor," I said. "Operational." "Say it clean," she said. "Latch shows minor strain from repeated handling," I said. "Fastener torque unchanged. Alignment within tolerance." We moved to the pump pad. "Model tag," she said. "Series 90, I said. "Rated 58 decibels at 1 meter. "Angle 1 set," she said. "Kitchen window light." "Angle 2, I said. "Pool light only." "Rolling," she said. Finley texted a thumbs up. 3 angles matched, I said. The pump clicked off. The hum died. Pam lifted a finger. Silent beat. Night air held. A television laughed down the block. Frogs answered. I carried the folder to the gate and opened it so the tab showed. "Hold the overlay beside the fence line," she said. I clipped the print next to the post. "Half speed will carry this," Pam said. "Run the deck after we lock," I said. We finished the yard circuit. "Checklist," she said. "Gate latch," I said. "Permit close up. Setback pins. Seal ridges." We stepped into the garage. Fluorescent buzz. Torque chart on pegboard. The projector cast a white on the cabinet door. Its fan made a whir. "Playlist set," she said. "Exhibit list open." I placed the affidavit beside the sync sheet. "Read in," she said. "Exhibit A, violation notice," I said. "Exhibit B, certified permit copy. Exhibit C, plat overlay. Version 2. Exhibit D, affidavit page 2 with device list and start marks. Exhibit E, sync grid with exact times. Corners filmed," she said. "Clips filmed. Bench wide filmed. Send the notice to the clerk," I said. Pam drafted the message. Subject reads, "Hearing presentation deck," she said. Exhibit list pasted. Preview attached. Sending now. The system pinged. Filed code received, she said. Logged. Good, she said. My phone buzzed. Dale wrote good to go. Then match pause points with the clap. Copy. Ready for freeze, she said. I scrubbed the timeline. Back 1, Pam said. Stop there. The neighbor angle held. Gary pointed at the gate. The permit folder edge sat over my shoulder. The overlay print hung on the board. The phone clock burned in the corner. That is the shot, I said. Mark it, she said. Frame 0315, I said. Overlay, lock confirmed. Permit tab in shot. Run once at half, she said. We watched the motion slow. The frame settled like a blueprint pin. Good, she said. Before we closed the project file, Pam rolled one more pass from the back step to the gate. The lens lingered on the setback pins, then on the seal ridges, then on the grid where our signatures dried. I wrote time codes next to each device and spoke them again for the record. Finley leaned out and gave a small salute from his window. Across the street, a porch light snapped on and off. "Porch light, blink," I said. He saw it. "Logged," I said. Wind pressed the screen and then eased once. We exported the deck. We added exhibit list to message for clerk and set the deck to open at half speed on start. "Name order," she said. "Yard pass 1," I said. "Bench pass 1, freeze capture, audio clap, sync grid still." "Drives," she said. I copied the files to 3 drives and labeled each with date and board name. "Labels recorded," she said. "No later magic." "Final run," I said. We watched the freeze on the door. The fan whispered. The blue tab held steady. "Latch shine reads true," she said. "Measure twice," I said. "File once." Pam pressed send to the clerk again with the drive manifest. "Chime," she said. "Delivery confirmed." The night let go of its breath. "Frame 0315, I said. "The permit tab is in shot." "Read it into the record," I told the clerk as the mic light glowed red. Tile clicked under shoes. The chamber smelled like floor wax and old paper. The projector hummed. The water cooler gurgled behind the last row. Pam stood with our case of drives. Neighbors filled the side benches whispering. The HOA president adjusted her visor and faced the dais like it was her stage. "Begin," the clerk said. The city inspector leaned to the mic. "Mr. Hall, provide your documentation." I set the blue folder on the table. Certified permit plat overlay. Affidavit, page 2 sync sheet and exhibit deck. Permit stamp reads, "Received 0317. Community aesthetic uniformity is at issue," the president said. "This pool violates harmony." I kept my voice measured. Aesthetics are guidance. Safety and compliance belong to the city. The inspector lifted the permit. "Clerk confirm stamp." The clerk angled the page to the lamp. Raised seal. Ridge pattern matches. Time matches the overlay file. "Projector," I said. Pam tapped play. The yard rolled onto the screen. 3 angles. Chalk marks. The freeze at frame 0315. The tab appeared clean as a street sign. "Stop there," the inspector said. "Read that line." Pam zoomed. "Plat overlay V2. 0 encroachment." Finley coughed. A row of phones lifted. The water cooler popped. The president tried a smile. "Uniformity allows us to protect property values. Show your authority to override city permits," I said. "Pending committee review," Gary said from the aisle. "That phrase is not law," I said. "Proceed," the inspector said. "Bylaw citation, please." The president opened her binder. "Section 1207 requires preclearance for visible water features." The secretary cleared her throat. "Section 1207 defers safety to city code when an approved permit exists." The room went still. The projector fan kept its patient breath. The inspector flipped a page. Then another. He read the number. He compared it to the overlay header. He traced the seal with a thumbnail like a mechanic feeling a bearing. "Clerk," he said. "Note that the stamp and the overlay header align." "Logged," she said. The president lifted her chin. "We maintain authority over aesthetics." "You maintain guidance," I said. "City law controls safety setbacks and authorization." He closed the folder. He looked up, eyes creased with tired humor. A short sound escaped him. Not cruel, not mocking. A chuckle like a bolt finally threading. "This permit is newer than our ordinance," he said. Murmurs rolled the room. Phones in the back caught the moment. Pam's camera kept steady. The clerk's fingers paused above the keys, then kept typing. The president reddened. "Sir, with respect, we must keep standards. With respect, I said standards cannot erase stamps." "Play the rest," the inspector said. Pam ran the deck. The clap sync, the time grid, the latch report, the seal ridges, The bench projector shot. The clerk read file names into the transcript. "Mic feed log is capturing," the clerk said. "Good," I said. The inspector leaned back and spoke into the microphone slow and clear. "This pool is fully authorized. Case dismissed." The mic cracked with a thin line of static. For a second, nobody moved. The silence felt clean. The projector hummed on, casting the freeze frame against beige paint. Then, breath returned to the benches. A neighbor exhaled like air out of a tire. Someone whispered finally. Pam squeezed my shoulder. I did not turn. I kept my eyes on the seal. The president gathered her binder. "We will appeal. You may file," I said. "We will answer." The inspector pushed the folder toward me. "Keep your originals flat. Submit a copy to records." "Already queued," Pam said. "Clerk," he said, "include the finding and transcript and minutes with the permit number read aloud." "Entered," she said. Finley raised his coffee. "Paper outlives noise," he said. I nodded. "Paper outlives noise." My phone buzzed. A text from Dale slid across the screen. "I told you so. D." I held it to the camera for a beat, then slid it back into my pocket. The president turned toward the door. The aisle felt longer for her than for anyone else. I faced the dais. For the record, we followed the whole book. We built the file. We stood here, and we proved it. The inspector clicked off his mic. Meeting adjourned. Pam leaned close. "Say it." I kept my voice low. Finally, someone fought back. Neighbors nodded. The water cooler bubbled as if it agreed. The clerk gathered the stamped slips. She stacked them like shingles. Pam signed the copy release. The clerk stamped "Micey Feed Log 1042" and clipped it to the transcript. Exhibit deck returned to me with received sticker. The projector cooled. The chamber emptied by Rose's quiet shoes on tile. I could hear the echo carry our case into records for years. I closed the blue folder. The seal caught light once more. I looked at the camera and gave the line that would cap the clip. Even the inspector laughed on record. The records office kept the same temperature as a bank vault. Fluorescent light flickered in a slow, nervous rhythm over rows of steel drawers. The smell of toner, hung low like paper, had a weather system. Pam filmed from the door. I set the blue folder on the counter and waited for the clerk to return. Her hands were steady until she picked up the brass embosser. Then, just a tremor. She aligned the corner of the transcript copy beneath the jaws. "Ready?" she asked. "Read the label before you press," I said. She looked at the clerk's stamp. "City of Cedar Crest Records. Filed." "Into the record," I said. She squeezed. A soft crackle traveled through the paper fibers. The embosser opened. The fresh city seal rose pale and high. The clerk exhaled a laugh of relief. She slid the copy toward the glass. "Filed and sealed," she said. "Transcript with finding permit number, mic feed log time." The printer chirped once. Silent beat. Quiet air. Behind me, shoes. Tapped tile. The HOA president stood 6 feet back, visor level. "Appeal form," she said. The attorney assistant stepped from a side desk with a code book tucked against her ribs. Standing, the president hesitated. "I'm the president." "Of a private association," the assistant said. "Appeal requires a directly aggrieved party. The city approved the pool. Your board is not the permit holder. Color drained to beige." "We represent the community. You can submit comment," the assistant said. "Not an administrative appeal." Pam tightened her frame on the embossed corner. The seal's ridges caught the faulty light and threw clean shadows. I kept my tone even. "May I request a certified duplicate for my files?" The clerk lifted a second sheet. "Duplicate certificate," she said. "We'll emboss that as well." "Add a protective note," I said. "Temporary restraint on punitive actions by non-jurisdictional bodies." She typed. Keys clacked. Template reads, TRO number required. Use TRO number 2025-118, the assistant said. City attorney authorized limited protective notation after dismissal. The clerk nodded and entered it. TRO number 2025-118, she said. Steady now. She placed the duplicate under the jaws and pressed. Paper sighed around the seal. The president's voice thinned. This is an overreach. This is a filing, I said. Overreach happens in binders, not in law. The dismissal stands, the assistant said. Please respect the finding. Pam panned to the drawer label where these would live. Pool permits, year 22 through 26. The clerk handed me both copies through the slot. The fresh seals were cool under my fingers like coins pulled from shade. Law leaves marks you can't erase, I said. The clerk almost smiled. People try. They do, I said. A man in a city polo wheeled by a cart of boxes and nodded toward the embosser. That thing outlasts every ordinance, he said. Good tool, I said. He pushed on. The light flickered once and steadied. The president stayed by the door, frozen in her outline. You embarrassed me, she said, voice flat. I kept my hands visible on the counter. You did that yourself, I said. On record. Her lips parted, then closed. She turned and left visor-level spine stiff. The door pushed a gust of hallway air across the counter and flipped the corner of my duplicate. Pam eased it flat with the back of her hand. I slid the top copy into a clear sleeve and signed the chain of custody at the bottom. Pam signed as witness. The clerk initialed. The assistant stamped the duplicate certificate and photocopied the TRO notation. Do you want a wall copy? Pam asked quietly. I looked at the counter display where shop owners had framed their first permits. Yeah, I said. Above the workbench. You'll see it every time you pick up a wrench, she said. That's the point. We thanked the clerk. She filed the originals into a drawer that swallowed click by click. The sound fit the frame. Outside, the hall smelled like lemon. The elevator ding matched the printer's chirp and made me think of the silent beat again. We stepped into the light. The visor waited just beyond the threshold. You think a stamp saves you? She said. It already did. I said, holding up the embossed corner. This one isn't yours to rewrite. Pam caught the gleam. I let the copy fall back to my side and faced her without heat. We're done for today, I said. City seal on the transcript. Duplicate in hand. TRO number 2025-118 attached to the file. She scoffed. You like your little trophies. I like order, I said. Finley texted a single word. Framed. I smiled and slid the phone away. Back at the doorway, Pam asked Cliff. I raised the duplicate so the ridges found the light and let the camera hold on paper. Filed and sealed, I said. Her ink can't reach that. The HOA board table looked wider than before, its end seat empty where she used to sit. The gavel rested untouched beside the new nameplate David Miller chair. Neighbors filled the folding chairs. The smell of brewed coffee drifted from the urn. Someone had taped a new sheet to the bulletin board: special session notice, policy review, and refund discussion. Pam sat by the camera tripod. Dale leaned on his cane near the back wall, nodding at me once Mentor re-entered, same calm authority. David cleared his throat. We're here to correct the record, he said. Item 1. Return of fines collected under prior misinterpretation of city code. A soft murmur rippled. I folded my hands on the blue folder, now smooth and worn from weeks of handling. Mr. Hall, David said, would you summarize the permit ruling for the minutes I stood? City Inspector confirmed permit 22-641P. Case dismissed, stamped, filed. TRO 2025-118 remains active. The secretary typed, fast eyes flicking to the embossed seal plaque now mounted on the wall. Motion, David said. Rescind all related fines, a neighbor called. Second, another said. Vote, hands rose. All in favor, 5-0. Motion carried. The chair scrape after the vote marked the silent beat. Then applause filled the room, low and real. Minicliff number 1. Motion carried. David waited for quiet. Next, he said proposal from Mr. Harper. Dale stepped forward, setting his binder on the table. Respect the permit policy, he said. Voice steady. One sentence. No association rule shall override a lawfully issued city permit. He turned to me. Add it to the bylaws. The secretary nodded. Copy will go in Section 12 General Provisions. Vote, David said. All hands again, unanimous. Pam zoomed on Dale's hand resting on the plaque. Good law isn't loud, he said. It just lasts. The crowd murmured approval. Mini Cliff number 2. Good law isn't loud. It just lasts. David opened a small box. Inside a stack of refund checks, each clipped with a note, fine reversed per hearing decision. He handed them down the row one by one. The room grew warmer with each slip of paper passed. Finley raised his to the light. Never thought I'd see a refund from an HOA, he said. You earned it, Dale said. I smiled. We all did. The secretary flipped the final page of minutes and signed. Filed, she said softly, as if the word itself needed gentleness. David tapped the gavel once. Effective immediately, former president's name will be removed from the board listing. The sound carried through the open doors into the hallway. Pam adjusted focus on the seal plaque now glowing under the ceiling light. The embossed circle caught the lens and flashed once same pattern that started it all. I turned to Dale. Guess you were right. He smiled. Once in a while the book actually closes on the right page. Pam whispered. Anything left for the record? I looked at the line of neighbors clutching refund slips at the plaque at Dale, leaning easier on his cane. Yeah, I said. Finally, someone fought back and won right. Evening settled slow over the yard. The pool lights shimmered like small suns under the surface, and the framed permit on the fence caught the last streak of daylight. Its seal glowed faint gold, the same seal that had once trembled in the clerk's hand. Pam placed 2 lawn chairs by the water. The air smelled of charcoal and wet grass. Crickets began their rhythm under the hedge. From the porch, I heard the steady hum of the filter, our silent metronome. The mailbox clicked open. She returned with a single white envelope city letterhead, neat and centered. You want to do the honors? I took it carefully, thumbs running over the embossed crest. The flap came loose with a whisper. City of Cedar Crest, I read. Case resolved, compliance confirmed. Pam exhaled. 2 months, she said. Feels longer. I smiled. Paper time moves slow, but lands exact. Mini Cliff number 1. The seal gleamed brighter as the day dimmed. She pinned the duplicate permit beside the pool sign, aligning its corners with a carpenter's precision. Straight, she asked. Perfect, I said. The blue folder lay closed on the table, worn smooth. Next to it sat the closure letter, folded once. Dale's name appeared in the newsletter printed beneath it, respect the permit policy adopted unanimously. A small note followed, advised by retired Inspector D. Harper. Pam read it aloud. He got his line in print. He earned it, I said. The neighbors arrived one by one, drawn by the scent of the grill. Finley carried a plate of ribs. His wife held lemonade. They waved at the new plaque by the fence. Looks official now, he said. It's more than a pool, Pam said. It's proof. I nodded. Proof sticks better when it's stamped. The water caught their reflections and tossed them back in soft waves. Silent beat. The pool filter hum blended with the night insects, steady and unbroken. Finley raised his glass. To the quiet kind of win, he said. Pam smiled. To paperwork and patience. Dale's voice wasn't here tonight, but his words floated through the moment. Good law isn't loud. It just lasts. I looked toward the clubhouse down the hill. The windows glowed. Inside, the new board met over coffee and calm voices. On the bulletin board, the bylaw copy hung under a strip of tape, bright under fluorescent light. The respect the permit policy, Pam said softly. Hard to believe that's real. Everything written down is real, I said. The grill hissed. Smoke lifted past the fence, tracing the same air where the first notice had once hung unpermitted pool. Now, nothing there but light and sound. Pam nudged the chair beside me. "Sit," she said. "You can stop checking your inbox." I laughed. "Old habits. New ending," she said. We sat. The filter clicked off for a moment, leaving just the chorus of crickets and the faint ripple of the pool. The water stilled, then caught the glow from the plaque again. I watched the reflection of the seal round and solid on the moving surface. Mini cliff number 2. The seal floated on water like memory refusing to sink. Pam said, "You ever think it'd end like this?" "Not this quiet," I said. "Not this clean." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "That's how you know it's right." The envelope rested open on the table, the ink dark and final. Case closed. I thought of Dale's steady hand guiding that napkin sketch weeks ago, of the clerk's trembling fingers pressing the seal of every silent beat between words that finally built this calm. The sound of water filled the pause. "Finally, someone fought back," I said. Pam smiled, and won right. The camera light blinked once. The last frame caught our reflection and the seal above us both still in the same shot. Evening light rippled across the water, catching the raised city seal that hung above the pool. The smell of grilled smoke and wet concrete mixed with the quiet hum of the filter proof that calm can be earned. The final letter from City Hall said it plain case, resolved compliance confirmed. After all the filings, hearings, and stamps, I learned that order isn't built by noise, but by patience, ink, and witnesses who stay. Justice isn't loud, it's steady. Finally, someone fought back. Share your HOA story below your map might help someone redraw theirs.